How bad is a $2,500 work truck? Today, we are going to find out. Three and a half hours to home. Hopefully this truck makes it. Went ahead and switched out the wheels and tires. Got the old dry rotted ones back there. I've learned my lesson running those. Just put some wheels and tires on here that rub really bad. You like that? Everybody at the gas station's looking at me right now. I'm gonna pull these liners off real quick. We're gonna rip these fender liners out of here. We're good to go. $2,500 truck, 3.5 hours to home. All kinds of check engine lights are popping up. Will this old truck make it home? We're gonna fix that rubbing problem right now. ...2008 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. It's got the 6.0 in it. I was able to scoop this thing up for $2,500. This truck was 4 hours away from my house, and the seller didn't really want me to drive it home. For the most part, this thing's pretty solid. We've got the typical Chevy rocker rust. A little bit of rust starting out here in the corner. This actually fell off while I was looking at the truck. The seat cushion is in really bad shape. I wish I could tell you how many miles it has, but the gauge cluster is so lit up with air codes that it will not tell me how many miles are on the truck. The listing said 350K. But for a Chevy, that's just breaking her in, baby. It's got the work truck interior, manual everything, manual windows. Weird switch here that does nothing. It does light up when you flip it. Now when we're starting this thing up, the key does not want to turn. So what I found is if you press in and shake up and down really hard while giving it some pressure, boom, she fires right up. On that 4-hour trip home, I didn't have any problems with it other than a little bit of vibration coming from the drivetrain. We'll look at that later. The oil pressure sensor is not sensing. We have all kinds of lights popping up. We'll scan those later. But this thing stays right at 210, doesn't overheat one bit. And as a bonus, you can see the AC is blowing really cold. And if we turn it to heat, you can now see she's blowing really hot. This thing is also a complete disaster. Most of this is my junk, but it is also really filthy. Has not been cleaned in a very long time. Now the seller was originally wanting $4,000 for this truck. I offered him $2,800 and he went down to $3,000. He said bring $3,000 cash and a trailer and haul it home. I said I'll bring you $3,000 cash, but I don't have a 22-foot long trailer. He really did not want me to drive this home for some reason, and that was kind of freaking me out. He said it ran and drove fine, wouldn't overheat, wasn't low on oil, nothing like that. We drove 4 hours to go and look at this truck. I looked it over for a good 30 minutes while it was running. Test drove it around a little bit, and I told him I didn't want it. I told him I'd rather go home with $3,000 in my pocket than bring this piece of junk home. And that's how I got it for $2,500. As I said, it's been sitting for a year. There's all kinds of junk in here. Oh, it's actually a 2007. I told you guys wrong. So far, I've been able to find a fork and some handcuffs. I'm not really sure what these would be for. Maybe somebody got arrested and they left their friend is probably a cop, and they were just picking him up at his work because his car broke down, and they were dropping him off at his house, and he left his handcuffs in the back seat of the car. In the box. He left them in the box. He didn't even open them up. Yeah. This truck is extremely dirty, so we're gonna go ahead and clean it up. And after that, we're gonna pull this thing into the garage and start tearing her down. We are going to be changing out the engine oil, transmission fluid, all of the diff fluid, transfer case oil. First thing we're going to drain is oil. Oh my gosh. That had some velocity behind it. I did not expect it to shoot all the way over there. We do got some black oil. I don't know when the last time this was changed. Why is that so small? I don't know if you guys are hearing that whining noise, but there's some kind of electrical component that's staying on. Truck is completely off right now. Now, crazy part about this is that this truck does not have an oil filler cap. So I bought like a $5 one from an auto parts store. And that fits perfect. I'm actually gonna add either some seafoam or marble mystery oil to this oil to help break down buildup and deposits. Probably marble. I'll run this for a little bit and then change it. Gonna drain the front diff oil now. That is crusty, boy. I'm gonna crack the top one now. Ow. Ow. This is what I have to deal with. Puppies biting my ankle. Oh my gosh. Did y'all see that gray? Look at that. All of that junk on there. Wow. That is caked on there. Oh my gosh. I wonder when the last time this has been changed. Time to fill her up. There it is. We're full. I wonder if the rear diff is gonna be as bad as the front diff. Probably worse. Okay. Yep. Bet you this is gonna be dirty. That's not that bad. Yeah, that ain't bad at all, I don't think. I'm gonna shoot some clean oil in there right quick to kind of flush out whatever might be left in there. There it is. Get all flush. Yeah. There's a whole lot of metallics coming out of there right now. Let's button it up and fill it up. There it is. She's full. Whole lot of junk on that magnet there. Gosh, look at all that metal. I'm gonna shoot some clean oil in there, flush some of that out right quick. There it is. She's full. We've changed the engine oil, the front diff, the rear diff, the transfer case oil. Now I want to change the transmission fluid and the filter, but the only problem is we have this exhaust pipe here. But I'm going to be dropping the Y pipe anyways because I'm going to be changing out the exhaust manifold gaskets. So these are going to have to be unbolted anyways, which will make dropping the transmission pan a lot easier. So we're going to get this Y pipe unbolted, drop it and move it out of the way. Change out our exhaust manifold gaskets because I'm pretty sure those are leaking. I hear a little ticking noise. And we'll change out the spark plugs while we're at it. Okay, I got that jack supporting it. I'm gonna drop it down a little bit lower and we should be able to get that transmission pan out of the way. Just needs a little more. Ow, golly. What I was gonna say was she needs a little more encouragement, I think. Yep, there it is. That's as low as she's gonna hang. She's hanging there by herself. Yeah, I think we can get this out of the way now. Been there, done that. Transmission shift linkage pops off, you just zip tie it back on. She's solid. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh golly. She's draining now. There we go. Oh gosh. Oh wow, we got some sludge on that magnet. Let's see if we can get this gasket off. They claim these are reusable, but I'm not gonna be reusing that. Matter of fact, this don't even look like the right gasket they sent me. Yeah, I don't think that's the right gasket. This is the one they sent me. Great. Dark transmission fluid. So I checked AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts, Napa, O'Reilly's. None of these people had this thing in stock. The only store that had this in stock was AutoZone, and it was at a store 2 hours away. So I just got back from Evansville, Indiana. Our pan is all clean on the inside. Magnet's been cleaned out, and I went ahead and rubbed some ATF all over it to make sure we got rid of all the soap. New gasket goes on like that. Gonna take a while. Got a lot of wires dangling that we're gonna strap up later, but we're gonna take out these wires, we're gonna take out the plugs, and then we're gonna unbolt the exhaust manifold and replace the manifold gasket and the spark plugs themselves. Multi-layer gasket, probably a GM product. Yep, that's the original. There's the GM number right there. New exhaust manifold in, we got some new bolts, new spark plugs. We're just gonna have to go get some wires, run the wires, and bolt this back up. That one looks pretty clean, I feel like. That is not bad at all, really. It's definitely a lot quieter. I still hear some kind of chatter. I know this one over here is kind of sounding loud. I think that maybe I need to put a gasket in between those there. I think that's definitely leaking right there. However, past idle, it's completely clean. Sounds great. No chatter at all. Let's see if she'll go on a quick drive. Shifts pretty good. I think we fixed her. Runs really well. It definitely feels like it shifts better than it did before. I feel good knowing that all of our fluids have been changed and we're good to go. Mechanically, the truck is running and driving really well, but we've got a very nasty interior. Just look at how dirty some of these things are. This thing is super filthy. I'm gonna be taking the seats out. I'm actually really glad this thing has a rubber floor, because if this was carpet, it would be such a pain to clean. I have new bottom cushions for these seats because this one's barely holding on. Uh-oh, they're fighting. Who's gonna win? This cushion is just barely holding on, and then that one over there has a rip in it. These are really easy to replace. put some oil on these tracks and hopefully make them slide a lot better. Here it is. For you guys, it probably looked like 5 minutes, but that was more like 6-7 hours worth of work. Replaced the bottom cushion. They're really solid and tight now. Of course, we cleaned up the rest of the seats. Dash is all cleaned up. We are fixing to get rid of that ugly radio. This thing is super clean, and now I got some floor mats so I can dirty them up instead of the floor. No more dip spit in the center console. Rear seat is super clean. I'm a man of the present, not the past, and this radio is old. And quite frankly, I don't listen to the radio at all. I always Bluetooth to my phone. Plus, I want Apple CarPlay on here so I can connect my Apple Maps to this so I can go places. So, pretty sure, yep, this just pops out. Oh yeah, I bet this whole thing comes off. It's about to be dusty under here. There we go. Okay, there she goes. Look at that piece of junk. There we go. Oh yeah, boy. No, it doesn't matter. I feel like the chime's different now. Well, it works. Overall, that fitment is pretty good. There's a little bit of a gap here, but I think that's probably just because of the old 2007 plastic that's been heated up and cooled off so much. And we've also got a backup camera. It's not the best of quality, but as you can see, there is the Dodge. These door handles are really getting on my nerves. They're old and wore out. So we're gonna replace all 4 door handles, but while we're doing that, we're also gonna throw in some new speakers. When we're done with that, we're gonna fix up this bumper. That cap's completely gone, that one's busted up, so I've got some new ones to go in. We've got some fog lights to install as well. That thing is old and crusty. Oh yeah, baby. Look at that old thing. Ancient. Old speaker didn't even work. New speaker is a Hypnotic HM65 Pro 4 is what this is called. The local audio shop said they sounded really good, so I just bought them. I'm sure they'll sound better than stock. With all the door handles being fixed, our next project is going to be to take these bumper covers off of here. This one's already off, and we're going to put some new ones on that have fog lights, and we'll have to run our own wiring for fog lights through this truck. There it is. This is that high quality Tanyang chrome there. Gonna switch out the old switch with a new switch that has a fog light button. This other wiring is. It's like garbage though. Our ignition switch has gotten better, but it still gets hung up and you gotta wiggle it. So we're gonna be taking this out and replacing it with a new one. Man, that thing looks wore out. Oh baby, looky there. I like that. Heck yes. One last final touch before we deem her roadworthy. What is this supposed to go on here? That don't look right. I think they sent me the wrong one. But we can live with it. That is not the right size. They probably sent me one for a 1500 or something. I think I'm just gonna live with it. She ain't going nowhere now, old son. This is the fine beauty of a work truck. You can just put screws in it wherever you want and you don't care. I don't think I'll ever have a truck that's not a work truck. Can you imagine stressing over your paint? Worrying about scratching up your bed? You see a little hill you can jump and you're like, I don't want to jump that because I don't want to tear my truck up. Well, I can't relate. This is your sign to sell that expensive truck that the bank owns and go buy a $2,500 work truck. Say goodbye to parking in the back of the grocery store parking lot because you're too afraid someone's gonna ding your door. I don't have that problem. I ding other people's doors. Work truck. $2,500 truck. We put maybe $1,500 in it, give or take. I think we did pretty good. Looks decent, runs pretty good, doesn't leak a drop of oil, doesn't use any oil, burns up a ton of gas. I'd say we got a pretty good deal.